Hey, this is Gunsully from the podcast, and today I want to talk to you about how to be a five-star Lyft driver. And today I am a five-star Lyft driver. And a lot of people might not know exactly what I mean by that, especially if they don't really pay attention to their actual rating. Lyft will round your rating up to the nearest uh, number, meaning if your rating is 4.95, it's going to show you as being a five-star driver, which is cool. You know, I like that. But and the way they do it is from a sample of 100. So there's 100 fares. The last 100 fares that you've done is where it gets your rating from. So that being the case, my last 100 ratings as of this week, my last 100 ratings were literally five stars. So I'm actually a five-star driver, and I really feel like bragging about this a little bit because it's sort of a big deal, and I didn't really think about it until I was at the cell phone lot, and another driver was asking me just some questions about how the traffic was and stuff, and he noticed on my app it said five stars, and he said, "Wow, how the hell did you maintain your five-star rating?" And so I gave him just a few little tips, and some of it's very simple stuff. Some of it requires a little bit of ingenuity um, with a printer and stuff like that, and putting up little passive-aggressive signs. A lot of people don't know what the five-star rating system is, and it's really hard to try to explain it to somebody. Um, so it's good to, and also it's one of those things, like they say in the entertainment industry. It's a good show don't tell situation. Um, Basically, you have something that you want to convey to somebody. You want to make it clear, like, hey, I really need this point to get across. Well, instead of just saying it, you sort of show them. And if you go to thepodcast.com, see see what I'm talking about here. I'm going to show some pictures of this, but I've actually made a little note that tells people that I have amenities for them, and these these amenities are stuff, very simple stuff like candy. Just put some mints in there with a little bag of candy that you can get from Costco or Walmart. Tear it open, put it in. Um, Also, bought a cup holder. See, I bought an extra cup holder so that people don't need to pull down the middle seat for a cup holder for the water bottles that I provide. So I'm providing water bottles, candy, uh, some extra cup holders, um, Wi-Fi. That one sounds hard, but it's not hard at all. Um, if you're already doing a transportation network job, you probably already have like an unlimited plan or a very large cell phone plan. That being the case, adding a hotspot is not hard at all. Um, and then you just have to tell people about it. Tell people, hey, let's say you're out of water bottles or you're out of candy. Let them know, like, hey, I apologize, I'm out of water bottles. And I've noticed that too. If I'm out of something, it gives me more of a chance to kind of brag about what I'm trying to provide people, because people need to know what you're trying to provide them, um, because otherwise they don't know that you're trying, and a lot of people feel that way. A lot of customers feel like the drivers aren't trying to go an extra mile for them, and if you just basically let them know, like, hey, I apologize that I'm out of water bottles, but I'm still broadcasting Wi-Fi, and you can log in. Password is lift car, all one word, lowercase, and they'll be like, "Oh, wow, you provide Wi-Fi? Oh, you really go an extra mile." Um, Once again, that's something that's not at all hard to do. Um, I'm sure you have a cell phone plan good enough to support that. Also, I can tell you, even if you have like an 8 gig plan or something like that, um, and you never stream and all that because you're afraid of going over your usage, I do have to say, um, I'd encourage you to get a what's that called, an unlimited plan, just for your sanity. I mean, come on, you're out there all the time. You're going to want to stream and learn new stuff and watch YouTube. So definitely go ahead and get a bigger plan. But even if you don't, people don't really use the the service. It's an awesome thing because people are just really appreciative of it. They'll go, "Wow, that's an awesome thing." And providing Wi-Fi is something I really gotta say is one of the main reasons why I have 5 stars, because yeah, it just shows it's a symbolic gesture showing the passenger that I actually give a crap about my rating and that I actually want them to have whatever the heck they need, even if that thing is something out there like Wi-Fi. Moving on from that, uh, show some flair, show some pride in your job. Uh, I went out and bought a nice pink steering wheel cover, which might seem a little silly, but saw it in Walmart. I was out with my wife, and we saw that, and I was like, "Hey, that looks like a Lyft thing." Bought it, and I remember when at the time I bought it, I was clocking in at 4.9. Meaning my rating was, I think, 4.92, but it shows up as 4.9 because, like I said, it rounds to the nearest number and nearest point number. And that being the case, it it looked like I was a 4.9 driver, and I was thinking I really want to come across like I know what I'm doing and I like what I'm doing, and putting that little pink steering wheel on there really was a great conversation starter, and people were like, "Wow, you really like Lyft," and get to talk to them, like, yeah, tell them what I like about Lyft, and yeah, it was cool. It was a fun thing. Um, Similarly, wearing clothes that are fun and sort of inviting clothing, light colors. Um, that's there's some psychology to that too, about wearing light colors like light blue, pink, purple. Don't wear red. Um, there's there's a lot of bizarre reasons why not to wear red, but red can make people um, angry. It can make people think that you're being aggressive, even if you're being the friendliest person on the planet. People can just psychologically, it's subliminal. They have no, it's subconscious. They have no clue that they are acting on some bizarre psychological prejudice. That customer just threw dirt at me. Um, they don't know that they're working on some sort of psychological thing. Also, this is kind of a funny one, and I don't want to get political on the podcast.com. But I do live in Washington, D.C., and it's kind of hard to avoid politics. And wearing red around around Democrats, which this is a predominantly Democrat area, um, they'll sometimes they'll instantly get upset because they'll think you are the party of the guy they don't like, and sort of start to conflate you to everything they don't like in the world. Some situational awareness is always a good idea. Um, uh, if you're in an area that's the opposite and is is lift heavy. I don't know where that would be, but maybe consider zhuzhing things up with red. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is here it's not a grand idea. Don't drive like this too. That's another way to get, that's another way to lose your 5 stars. Um, oh no, he's jumping out of my car. Bad. um, so yeah, what we've covered. Go out and get a cup holder tray. Go out and get a cup holder tray that hooks onto the back of your seat. I'm gonna and like I said too, check out the picture that I've posted in the article at thepodcast.com. If for some reason you can't type in what's written below my face on the screen here, um, then go to the description of this video. I'm going to put a link to the exact article. I am in a subway system. This game is ridiculous. This is fun. Oh, there's the. I missed the stairs. Oh, I gotta go. I'm sorry. This game cracks me up. It's obviously. Obviously, I don't have the privilege of driving crazy, so playing Crazy Taxi is pretty cathartic. I get to drive super crazy and smash into stuff. Um, the that is another thing too with passengers. You have to be able to gauge how your passenger wants you driving, which some people are in a hurry. um, and you have to kind of act like you're trying to speed and you're trying to do everything and sort of talk to them like, oh, I'm gonna jump out here and I'm gonna try to do this, and I'm gonna stretch the rules as much as I can for you. And I mean, don't do anything illegal. Don't run red lights. Don't excessively speed. Uh, but act as though you are just as stressed out as the passenger is, and that you really, really want to get them to where they're trying to go. Because you do. You want that. You want them to get where they're going. You want to get paid, and you want to make 5 stars. If the person seems a little on edge, drive slower, drive back. And this is one of those things too, where um, if you um, if you can't pick somebody up for some reason, such as they have too much luggage or stuff like that, just cancel. Do not try to pick up somebody that is already causing you a headache or is calling multiple times and being belligerent over the phone. Um, that means you got to have a good acceptance rating so that you can have good discretion on that issue, because sometimes you shouldn't pick people up, um, uh, and uh, and you got to know that. I probably once or twice a week, doing about 70 to 100 fares a week. I'll have 3 or 4 people that I'll get out and I'll look at the amount of luggage they have and I'll just say sorry, that's not going to fit in my car, and I get back in. Had we stayed there for 5 minutes trying to figure out whose luggage is going to go on whose lap, it's going to lead to them riding uncomfortable. No matter how much I try to give them candy and water bottles and Wi-Fi, they're going to be uncomfortable. They're not going to like the situation, and then they're going to probably take it out on me. Even though even though it's not my fault, even though I'm just trying to do my job. Um, uh, Sometimes stuff is just completely out of your hands, and you will get downrated occasionally. But uh, I doing all this sort of stuff helps keep your rating up. And my rating's been rounded to 5 stars for a month now, and uh, it finally, like I said, today hit 5 stars because one of those lower ratings, like the 4-star rating, fell off the 100 sample. So go to thepodcast.com. And if you're watching the stream right now, you're not going to find this article because obviously I haven't put it up yet. But you will find an article on the Slants, whose music is playing right now. So you will find their music up there, and check them out. The Slants, man. Oh, whoops. The Slants, great band. Always repping the Slants. They won their Supreme Court case against the Patent and Trademark Office, so they can now be rocking their merchandise. Also, that means I have to stop selling all the bootleg merchandise that I've made. Sorry, Simon. Just kidding. So that being the case, check out thepodcast.com. Subscribe to us on Twitter. Twitter with the podcast gaming account. YouTube, right here. Twitch, Instagram, Facebook. And I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in on Twitch. Thanks for watching this on YouTube. And Vio con Dios. Keep talking it out. Cheers.